First of all, Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, thank you so much for doing this. Congratulations on the movie.
Our pleasure. Thank you,
Haven't
Brandon.
seen it yet, but I'm going to proclaim by faith that it's going to be awesome.
It is awesome.
you.
You're right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So Chris, how would you compare this film to the first one?
Oh man, I think you know it's a great step.
Right.
It plays very much like the second chapter of a trilogy. We're blowing up the island, man. We are blowing up the island.
There we go.
And moving outward from there.
Nice. And the chemistry between the both of you is super important for the success of the film, right? So how do you guys work on this chemistry? Do you guys have to how do you guys work on this?
Well, I've always thought that it was really the dinosaurs that people were coming to see.
Yeah.
I haven't put too much pressure on our situation.
yeah, no.
I mean, what's fun is that we're not actually very different from the characters that we play. We share probably like 60-70% of our characters' traits.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's just a natural dynamic between us that hopefully, it adds up at the end of the day.
Yeah, hopefully it translates onto the screen, but it's certainly in the moment really fun and exciting, and it's just really nice to work with somebody that you really get along with well, and to work on a film, especially a film of this magnitude, something to be part of this legacy, to be part of Jurassic. I couldn't have picked a better partner.
Ooh, aww. Everybody say aww. All together. 1, 2, 3. Aww.
These creatures were here before us. And if we're not careful, they're gonna be here after.
You have a long history with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And in a way, I dare say, that you're quite a dinosaur yourself when it comes to the Jurassic franchise.
I think I get what you mean. I take that in the best way. Yes, I am. I'm an old, crusty fossil.
You're not crusty
I agree.
yet, but maybe.
Well, I'm crusty. If you saw me out of these duds, you'd see a few places that I could use some pumice on, I'll tell you that much.
Because in a way, I've watched you since I'm 25 years old. So
What? I thought you were 19.
Wow, you deserve a candy lah. You deserve a sweet lah. I'm 25 already. I'm getting old.
You could be my great-great-grandchild.
Wow, he definitely ate honey before this, because you're so sweet. Whatever you're saying is so sweet. Now, you also play a lot of different characters throughout your career.
Yes.
Ian Malcolm, can I say is one of your favorites?
Yeah, I love it. I like to wear black clothing.
As I can tell.
I like a rock and roll ring.
As I can tell.
Yes. And I like to have a wry sense of humor. I like to seem to be enjoying myself. But when push comes to shove, I like to have a passionate word to say to those in power and say science is good. Curiosity, human curiosity, and fact-finding ability and achievement of scientists is good. Don't misuse it for profit purposes and for, heaven forbid, militaristic leverage. I'll fight you every step of the way, as long as there's breath in my body. Horses couldn't keep me from fighting you on that.
Now, when you were making the film, you mentioned also about making the film, right? I watched one of your previous interviews where you mentioned that you kind of like scaring people. Like that's your thing. So behind you right now, no, I'm just kidding. There's nothing behind you. But Chris and Bryce, I'm sure you've also scared them before on set. So is there any one moment where you scared them that you can remember right now? You can share with us. Have you ever scared them on set?
Yes, I mean I used to play a lot with music and also with sounds, and of course there was a lot of dinosaur sounds on set for this production, And I remember a couple of moments that I just played by surprise, like a big roar, provoking an effect. And I remember that, of course, that's always very effective, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun because, of course, the actors they participate of it, they enjoy it too.
Nice. And what was it like working with greats, like Steven Spielberg, Frank Marshall, the writer Colin Trevorrow? Did you learn a lot from them? Did you maybe scare them as well?
Yeah, it's very exciting. From the moment you're going to do a Jurassic movie, these movies are more like a collaborative effort between filmmakers. So you have all these people who were taking care of the movies before than you, and it's always very exciting. Having the chance of sitting down in front of Steven Spielberg and talk about the story with him and show him the shots and talk about the ideas. It was a very special moment for me.
She's dragged. Okay, come on.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Now, when you guys were shooting this, I think a lot of times, right, you guys were actually, reacting and acting to very high-tech props. Sometimes guys in very tight suits. So
Guys in very tight suits.
is that right? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that happens
right.
on our
So is
set.
that,
Yes.
is that tough to react to that kind of things? I'm sure sometimes you guys will burst out laughing or something.
No. I mean, it's so when you're in it and when you're acting in the scene and there's like an animatronic dinosaur and you're in the jungle and J.A. the director would play like this like very scary music and then suddenly have all these dinosaur roars. Like it feels real. It really, really does. It's incredible, and we have so many more dinosaurs in this movie than we had, than have been in any previous Jurassic movie. And many of these dinosaurs that you see on the screen were animatronic dinosaurs. So like what you see was what we were experiencing.
Yeah, I mean, these types of movies are great because for the reason that oftentimes a lot of what you see on the screen you didn't see when you were there, so you can sit down and be surprised by the movie and in a way become an audience member in a way that in other movies you just can't because you were there, you know what the sets look like, you know what all the characters look like, but there are a lot of elements that are animated in this parts of the post-production process that we don't get to see, so when you see the movie for the first time, you're kind of blown away.
In a good way.
Of course, yeah,
totally.
always, yeah.
Now, we know that Owen Grady and Claire, you guys would definitely survive in Jurassic World. Owen Grady and Claire, but what about Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard? Would you guys survive?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really? We have a team of people that I think would take care of us, guys. Would we survive? I don't know. It depends on our publicists. Probably
on
though.
the
They're
publicists.
really good. Yeah.
No, Chris is like a survivalist. Like I've straight up said, like if there's an apocalypse or an apocalyptic event, like I'm at the Pratt household.
All right, and finally, last words to the camera, to especially your fans in Malaysia, which I say you have a lot. Many last words to them to tell them to come watch the movie, come and support the film.
Hey, we're here with Brandon. We're so excited for our fans in Malaysia. We're so grateful and thankful. Cannot wait for you to see Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It's coming soon. So when they start selling tickets, don't walk, run.
Definitely run.